Let's see what the updates are on the Jeffrey Jedediah Epstein saga. Ghislaine Maxwell is being transferred to Texas prison. It's going from state to federal, baby.
News 24/7, something that CBS News' Scott McFarland flagged for us just a moment ago. We're just learning former Jeffrey Epstein associate and convict Ghislaine Maxwell has been transferred to a federal prison in Texas. Maxwell serving out her 20-year prison sentence in Tennessee for grooming and abusing underage girls with Jeffrey Epstein. Now she's got a new home. No explanations given for the move to Texas. So we've done some digging. Here's what we know so far about her new home in Texas. It's a low security federal prison, smaller population. It includes another high-profile inmate, ex-Theranos chief Elizabeth Holmes. We'll continue to ask questions about why Ghislaine Maxwell has been moved while serving out that 20-year prison sentence. Of course, this is on the heels of her meeting last week with the feds and a chorus of accusations that there is concern that she could be looking at a presidential pardon. Of course, Mr. Trump saying he can, but has not signaled that he would or that he's even been asked for a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell. A lot of questions here. We'll continue asking those and chase the answers that we know you're looking for.
One of Jeffrey Epstein's alleged sex abuse victims say they are stunned by recent comments from President Trump. The president said he had a falling out with Epstein after he said Epstein, quote,
What is this? You know what? You know who I really love? Jabotinsky. Yeah, I saw this. He was such a badass, it almost breaks the historical genre. The man saw the Holocaust coming and warned people. While everyone else was clinging to assimilation or polite diplomacy, he was out there organizing Jewish military units and saying, they won't save us, we have to save ourselves. He founded the Irgun. He trained militias. He fought for a Jewish army in World War I. He wrote poetry, ran newspapers, and was nothing if not pragmatist. He believed nothing would save Jews like military strength, not because he glorified violence, but because he understood what powerlessness costs you. You can disagree with his politics, you can argue about his legacy, but you cannot deny he had no illusions about human nature and spine. It's a simple lie that Jabotinsky was a terrorist. One more for the bonfire free Palestine bullshit. Dude, if I talked about Jews the way Jabotinsky, if I talked about Jews and Israel in the way that Jabotinsky did right now, Brianna Wu would demand me getting banned. Okay? What's so crazy about this is like, because he was honest. He was honest about what the fuck was going on with Israel. Like he was honest about the colonial process of Israel. If I talked away Jabotinsky, if I talked about Jabotinsky's demands for what he wants to do to the project of Israel, the colonial project of Israel, which in certain respects I do talk about, they say I'm wrong. They say I'm crazy. They say I'm fucked up for saying this. Who's Brianna? Brianna Wu is, I don't know how to describe her. She's just stupid. She's a dumbass. That's it. She's just an idiot who literally got, like, she had no opinions whatsoever on Israel-Palestine before October 7, by her own admission. And, you know, as an adult woman, she got her mind melted by sex pestiny of all people. And became slowly but surely became a major Israel dick rider. Check logs for an insane Jabotinsky quote. Fossa clapped me. What is this? Jeffrey Epstein is running for mayor. What? What the fuck? What is the... Oh, Jabotinsky quote. As long as the Arabs preserve a gleam of hope that they will succeed in getting rid of us, nothing in the world can cause them to relinquish this hope. Precisely because they are not rubble, but a living people. And a living people will ready to yield on such fateful issues only when they give up all hope of getting rid of the alien settlers. See? Ruthlessly honest about the conditions of colonialization in Israel. Only then will extremist groups with their slogan, no, never lose their influence, and only then their influence be transferred. Your message was too long. Brianna Pooh being stupid. Are people just unaware that Biden has dedicated his entire State Department to pursuing a ceasefire for many months? What do you think our Secretary of State... By the way, look. February 28th, 2024. It's really funny looking back at this, looking back at my statements and then looking back at the commentary around it. Ted Lieu, Biden did better in the Michigan primary against his opponents than Trump did in the Michigan primary against his opponent. Biden overperformed, Trump underperformed. That's what the numbers show. Biden won Michigan in 2020 by 150K. 100,000 plus voters voted uncommitted in the Dem primary. 77% of Democrats want a ceasefire in Gaza. 69% of independents want a ceasefire. 56% of GOP wants a ceasefire. February 28th, 2024. If you believe in huge majorities support the cause, why did so few vote for it in Michigan? If it was a no stakes vote, but only still 13% opted for it, how do you explain the huge gap with the polling numbers you cite? You realize Israel isn't in Michigan, right? Not sure if you're aware, Biden has dedicated the entire State Department to pursuing a ceasefire for months. These people are professionally wrong, okay? You need to understand. These people are professionally wrong, except it's even worse than being professionally wrong. They're doing it for free. They're wrong for free. Isn't he literally trying to negotiate one? Here's Brianna Wu. Are people just unaware that Biden has dedicated his entire State Department to pursuing a ceasefire for many months? What do you think our Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, has been doing with these repeated trips to the Middle East, pretending to work? It's already our policy. The rub of all of this, how you define a ceasefire. Do the hostages come home? Is Hamas left in charge? Who's the new government of Gaza? A lot of Free Palestine types are not actually looking for a cessation of fighting. And it's so funny because these people that have been professionally wrong this entire time, like without getting paid to be wrong. Well, some of them are getting paid to be wrong. But what's so funny about this is they're still doing it. They're still doing it in my replies, okay? Where I said that all it takes is one phone call, and here's why, and I laid it out. I said one phone call is all it would take to stop Israel's side. If Israel doesn't comply, shut off weapons transfers. If Israel looks to get weapons elsewhere, put a sanctions package. If all else fails, invade Israel militarily. This is why all it takes is one phone call. And motherfuckers were still up my ass, who have been wrong the entire time, still in the replies being wrong. At some point, you just have to have, like, even this person. So that's way more stuff than just a phone call. Yo, have the decency to sit this one out. Okay? One of my friends said this tweet was stupid and then tried to compare it to Trump. If I'm so stupid, why are they wrong all the time and I am right? How are you going to be worse off than a stupid person? It makes no damn sense. Okay? It doesn't make any sense. Why are you always wrong and the stupid person is right? Maybe it's time for you to just shut the fuck up and listen to the stupid person. I mean, it just doesn't, it's so stupid. It's so dumb. Anyway, let's get back to Virginia Giuffre. Virginia Giuffre's family questions Trump's Epstein comments.
Stole Virginia Giuffre, who worked for Trump at Mar-a-Lago. Now her siblings say that they want to know what the president knew and when about Epstein's crimes. Scott McFarlane has more from Washington.
Virginia Giuffre was one of Jeffrey Epstein's most vocal and visible victims.
Jeffrey was a sick pedophile.
You should take Pegasus advice, little bro. I have no idea what this is. Are you talking about the spyware? This is like the 8th time someone has said Pegasus, and I still don't know if you're talking about some like random drama slop tuber or something, or if you're talking about like the Israeli spyware. Dude from Yu-Gi-Oh! People always say this is like a slop tuber or something, but I don't know what his advice is. You can relay it to me. Oh, you know he's a slop tuber. That's so funny. I love that you were like, nah, the slop tuber. Okay, what's his advice? What's the advice of this slop tuber that I've never heard of in my entire life, who I suspect, considering that you're in here demanding I listen to him, he's probably made a shit ton of videos on me. What's the advice? I'll bite. You won't be able to link the video, most likely, because you're not subscribed. You have to be subscribed to be able to link a video. So just summarize it for me. Also, it's really funny to go to the stream of a political commentator and be like, hey, you should listen to the advice of this slop tuber that I'm admitting is a slop tuber. I'm open to it. Stop supporting terrorism. That was good advice. Thank you. That seems like it's pretty good advice. Don't worry. I don't support Israel. Bro, how does this shit not get old to you? It's pretty funny. Come on, man. This guy he's trying. Sometimes I think you can be biased towards chatters, but why is it every time sometimes? That's the advice that he's giving me. Well, he should just get back to whatever kind of slop he's doing. He's done those goofy ass, he's done thumbnails, videos of you in bread tube around the E-drama shit. Yeah, it's funny because like there are so many guys like this who are like, Hasan is done, Hasan is done, Hasan is done. And then when it never happens, they just keep making videos. Thank God I'm not done, so they can keep making videos about how done I am, I guess. It's over. It's over. This time you're done, buddy. You're supporting terrorism. Why is NPR not aware that Hasan is supporting terrorism? I don't understand. Why does New York Times not recognize that this guy is not only a supporter of terrorism but a hater of America? I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe because the average New York Times reporter, regardless of our ideological differences, is not like Steven Crowder brained. Have you thought about that? Like, oh yeah, I'm the China for slop tubers. I'll collapse any moment because you're paying them for puff pieces. Yeah, exactly. Which is weird because like my opponents online are far, far wealthier than I ever could be. And yet for some reason they are not able to pay for these puff pieces themselves, it seems. Yeah. Lol, that dude Pegasus made 82 videos about you. 82 videos to say I'm a terrorist? You couldn't get that away? You couldn't do that with one video? You needed 82 videos to say I'm a terrorist? That's crazy. Good luck, man. I'm happy that you're alive and well, eating good. I'm sure people will get bored at some point.
Just months after her family says Giuffre died by suicide, they're speaking out after Trump said Epstein stole Giuffre from Mar-a-Lago, where she worked as a teenager.
I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was... He stole her.
We were shocked by it. Especially to use the term stolen. Because she's not an object. She's a person.
The family's also questioning why, 2 years after Giuffre said she was recruited by Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell at Mar-a-Lago, Trump told New York Magazine Jeffrey Epstein was a terrific guy, and it is...
I might jump on the Hasan hate industrial complex. It seems super lucrative. I mean, if you're an amoral scumbag, you can find yourself among the ranks of notorious sex pests, pedophiles, lolly lovers, Nazis, Israel defenders, sometimes all of the above. But the alternative also is just like making positive content as well about your worldview. There are plenty of examples of up and coming content creators that I've highlighted in the past couple of months, and they're doing great, and they didn't have to sell their soul or be professionally wrong all the time. So yeah.
Even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. The president hasn't ruled out a pardon for Maxwell, a possibility Giuffre's family blasted.
The word that comes to mind is it would be an abomination.
On Thursday, the president again faced questions about his claim Epstein stole Giuffre from him.
I said, if he's taking anybody from Mar-a-Lago, he's hiring or whatever he's doing. I didn't like it, and we threw him out.
While Giuffre's family said before she died, Giuffre pushed for all the documents in Epstein's case to be released.
She wanted the world to know what they've done to her and so many other survivors, and she had been fighting that to her very last day.
We reached out to Maxwell's defense attorney to ask if pardon negotiations are underway, but the attorney did not respond. Maxwell has 12 years left remaining in her prison term for trafficking girls for sex. Nate?
All right, I'm sure more to come on this. Scott, thank you.
And I want to bring in the members of Virginia Roberts Giuffre's family, her brothers, Sky Roberts and Danny Wilson, as well as their wives, Amanda Roberts and Lynette Wilson. And I'm just so grateful to have all of you here tonight to talk about something that I know is really painful, but also really important for each of you. And Danny, I think it's hard for anybody to imagine the emotional toll the last few weeks have probably had on your family. What made you decide to speak out tonight?
I don't think it's even the last 2 weeks. I think it's the last 10 years. I'm speaking out because my sister is not here to speak out, and I think she would, and I'm here to speak out for the survivors.
And Sky, your sister was just 16 years old when she was working at Mar-a-Lago in 2000, and when she was recruited by Ghislaine Maxwell. As this has played out over the last few weeks, I imagine you were probably quite surprised when the Justice Department sent their number 2 in charge to go and sit down with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, we were very surprised, I think.
Calm down, chatter. Calm down. I'm going to play video games at 7 p.m., okay? In 3 hours.
You know, she was
with Will
preyed
Neff.
upon by Ghislaine Maxwell as well as many other predators out there, but she was preyed upon at Mar-a-Lago. And we were very shocked and very surprised that, you know, they were giving her a voice and giving her a platform to essentially possibly make a deal. And, you know, reality to that is that there's so many survivors still out there that are affected by that, including my sister, who's not here to speak for herself. And I think it's important that we stand beside them, that we stand in front of you and in front of everyone out there with a sign of strength on my sister's behalf, because she's not here to do that herself. But we stand with survivors here, and I want to make it clear that, you know, she does not get the opportunity to get out. She deserves to rot in prison where she belongs because of what she's done to my sister and so many other women. And it's absolutely a pure sense of evil.
A pure sense of evil. I think some people remember this and think of Jeffrey Epstein, but may not remember Ghislaine Maxwell. And I know that y'all as a family have said that at times Virginia said that that Maxwell could be more cruel than Epstein was. And Amanda or Lynette, I wonder what either of you remember about what she had to say and her view of that.
Yeah, I just remember very vivid and specific conversations with her and talking about Ghislaine and almost describing her as this puppet master, you know, and being this organizer of things and being so viciously cruel to the young women, and knowing that they were so vulnerable and young, she targeted them specifically, you know, and she was also very complicit, like, in those actions. She wasn't just, she participated and viciously participated with these girls and abusing them. And so she just described her as this monster, you know, of a nightmare.
Well, and, you know, Lynette, remembering that, I wonder, you know, as we're in this conversation of whether or not she'll be granted immunity to speak to Congress, or whether a pardon would be on the table, or even a reduction in her sentence that she's serving right now. Not only what message that would send to someone like your sister, who was so outspoken about this and such an advocate, but also to the survivors, the other survivors in this moment.
I mean, I think that's really the point, and a big reason why we are even speaking out, because it does send a message to the survivors that, you know, if you're in power, if you've got money, if you've got connections, then you're above the law. Because if there is any kind of conversation around leniency or potentially getting out, this wasn't someone who was a minor player. This was someone who was an organizer in this sex trafficking ring.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that the Trump administration is even like remotely entertaining, and they are gonna do it already. They some kind of leniency, sentence commutation. You know, it's just, again, these are supposed to be the anti-pedophilia party, but eventually or the Trump administration at least thinks that, like, they can get the masses to turn around and be like, oh, well, it was just actually a phebophilia.
Every day, more questions are being raised about that Jeffrey Epstein prison cell video that the Department of Justice and the FBI released with great fanfare. Look how transparent we're being. They described it as the full, raw surveillance video from the camera near the child sex trafficker's prison cell the night before he was found dead. It was their so-called, look, here.
I feel like the end point of this is just like anyone that's ever been criminally convicted of like sex offenses is actually a victim of cancel culture. You know what I mean? Like, it's the Candace Owens working with Harvey Weinstein move, where it's just like the administration is like signaling that they want to pardon Diddy. That's where we're going towards.
Here's the video. Right away, people noticed at least a minute was missing. Now, the explanation Attorney General Pam Bondi gave didn't make that much sense. It was something about a tech glitch. And the confusion's gone on for the last 3 weeks. Now there's new reporting. The FBI actually has in its possession a copy of the video with the missing footage. So what exactly is going on? Will Summers, a senior reporter for The Bulwark, who has been closely covering this story, and he joins me now. So I want to just start on the missing minute, okay? People noticed the missing minute, I think, in the time codes and in the metadata. And I want to play Pam Bondi's explanation of the missing minute, which I just want to start off in saying my inclination is not to think that, like, they edited the video and that he was murdered in his prison cell. I think he probably did kill himself. I'm trying to be, like, rational about all this, but they're being weird. So here's Pam Bondi. Take a listen.
The video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video.
Okay, so Will, now CBS reports there's a version of the full video. So was she lying about that? Like, what's going on?
It's really hard to know. I mean, I think, like with so much of this Epstein situation, there are all these unanswered questions, and the government, in its attempts to close the case, keeps creating more questions. On one hand, perhaps, we were promised here the full and raw footage were their words. And now they're saying, initially, as you said, she said, there's 1 minute missing, which we, by the way, forgot to mention initially. And now it's reported that there is a minute, and there's all these the metadata suggests that there's, in fact, maybe 3 minutes that were missing, or maybe the tape was weirdly sped up. So there are all these issues that the government really seems to be in no rush to answer.
There also is the point that Julie K. Brown made, which is that, at one point in the video, you see him walking in, right, through those doors, but that essentially there's another avenue to reach the cell. So it's not even of the cell, it's of like the entrance to a block that the cell is in, and there's another way to get to the cell. So like at some level, it's not even clear what this shows.
It doesn't really prove anything. I mean, the CBS analysis really, really goes into it. And as you said, Julie K. Brown, who's followed this case so closely, has said the same thing, that this doesn't, the government presented this as sort of case closed, that if you watch this video, you'll see that no one came in. But in fact, people could go in another way. And through the analysis of the video, CBS showed that people are able to access the block without being on the video, or they're able to access it without guards. So all of these things the government is saying, on one hand, maybe their analysis of the video was just really botched and rushed, and that creates its own issue, or combining that with the weird way other things in this case have been handled, with the move on, get over it, insulting people over it, you wonder, is there something else going on here that's more sinister?
I mean, again, the